scene where at the end of the film was supposed to be him actually becoming president of the United States.
Really? I haven't seen that.
Yeah. That was the original ending that they cut. The alternative ending was Matthew becoming president at the end of the film. And I feel like that was a good thing, cutting it out, because it seemed like that's too much of a time jump.
Yeah, that's too much of a leap.
Yeah.
From what they're going. It was a good one. Seeing them in Georgetown,
Yeah, at Georgetown, still with Danielle, because she was, I feel like he was missing that kind of that person that pushed him to do better, or like the focus or his motivation, and she was that motivation, and it bleeds through, through the film, and I think that's why I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Also, we can't do this episode without talking about how Kelly doses him with E,
which was a substance that was really used in the 2000s. Really came into fame when we were younger and stuff, and definitely still not really E anymore, but much more like a lot of kids now take Molly and stuff like that.
I know,
prescription drugs.
I know it was when we were growing up, it was like E and Skittles.
Yeah.
And raves came back with a vengeance, and people just being nuts. I never fell into that trap because I always knew the long-term effects of it weren't worth it.
Yeah.
And but I've always thought that was very interesting scene where he's drugged right before his scholarship speech, and he still has to go.
I love the fact that he laughs when he's like during the JFK quote.
So right before he goes up, his basically his arch nemesis ends up using the same piece of speech from JFK, and because he's kind of high at the time, or coming down at least, he does this crazy like cackle during the speech, like, whoa, like, I'm fucked now, no coming back from that. You just have to watch the film. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check it out. I know it was on HBO. I think they might have taken it down now, but you can definitely rent it for a couple $. Check it out. I hope you've seen it already, because it's been out forever, or even buy it, because this film deserves to be seen. I really enjoy it.
I know. I think I might have to buy it just to see that deleted scene, man. I didn't know about that. Yeah. That was a definitely swan fact.
Thank you. Like bonus, right?
That bonus features.
I actually I queued up a little featurette that kind of has it features Alicia, the director, and Emil talking about the film from their perspective and what it means to them. If you want to dive into that real quick.
Let's do it.
Cool.
I will always remember the girl next door. Whoa. Oh my. She's so hot.
What channel, dude?
Dude, what the?
When I got the script, I was like, my manager told me, there's a bit of porn involved. I was like, what are you talking? Don't send me a porn script. What are you doing? And then they sent it to me, and I read it, and I understood where the porn kind of came into play.
Matthew, come down here. What are you doing up there?
Nothing.
Come down here.
When Matthew first sees Danielle, he's walking down his driveway, and she's walking up hers, and they exchange glances, and he's just like, he has the wind knocked out of him.
This is Danielle. Danielle just came in from Los Angeles, and she's house sitting while her aunt's away. Why don't you show her around?
She really wants to start over, and I think change the life that she's somewhat made for herself early on, which is obviously being a porn star. Did you like what you saw?
Okay, I saw you for an instant.
An instant?
Yeah. It was no big deal. This girl, Danielle, the girl next door, played by Alicia Cuthbert, makes him, break out of his shell and just become, kind of the guy that he always wished he could be. Yeah, right, like I'm gonna strip right here.
The whole package.
There. You happy now?
I think Matthew's realization of who Danielle is without her having to tell him and kind of having to figure out on his own by mistake is kind of interesting.
Matthew, we live in a crazy, mixed up world. That's not her.
She realizes that this is real love, and she is really in love, and she wants him to fall in love with her because of who she is, and not because of what she's done in the past.
Cool. The whole goal of this movie, besides really making people really care for these characters in the love story, was to have a very wild, high-octane, unpredictable ride where you really have no idea where this movie is going, how far are you willing to go, how much are you willing to risk for love.
Oh, yeah.
Gentlemen, these are your prom dates. April and Ferrari.
It comes from having two different characters, falling in love, of course, and really connecting. I'm all wet. Can I come in?
I know. Dude. I know.
There we go.
You can tell this was from the from the early 2000s with the music playing in the background.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you for that shit.
Yeah. What else? Any last thoughts on the film? Are we closing out? What do you want to do?
Well, my thoughts will be just to go watch it. Definitely a movie to watch. Not just because we're reviewing it, but in general. I think if you really love storytelling, I feel if you really like music, this is your movie. You know, it's just not a throwaway movie. Definitely pay attention to the undertones in it. You know. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I don't know if you had some closing thoughts on it.
Nice. I wanted to say I'll give this film an 8.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's definitely got a little stronger in general. I think it has a lot. It's weird how underrated it is because the staying power is more. I feel like it's more relevant than American Pie or, a bunch of the same films that it's kind of in the vein of. I always come back to this one first, and I love all the supporting characters. The characters are amazing. You should check it out. Also, on a kind of an unrelated note, I wanted to say that our hearts go out to all the victims and the families of the victims from all the recent shootings that have been going around
in a week, which is crazy.
In the U.S. White supremacy is a problem. We need to eradicate it.
Yeah.
And I think that starts with the president. We need to get someone else in there, and we need to stop the brainwashing. It's obvious that this country's problems are within. They're not across the border.
No, they're in your front door.
Yeah, they're in our backyard, and it's very scary and it's a little unnerving. It makes even me. It makes me wonder: am I going to go shopping today and something's going to happen? That's the state that we're living in now. It's we just had an attack happen in Gilroy, California.
Yeah.
Before the Texas and the Ohio stuff happened.
Yeah.
And it makes me worried to go to festivals or to any kind of events because you don't know what psychopath is waiting. And that's where it comes down to we need to crack down, like seriously, crack down on gun reform.
Yeah.
And people that own, have guns and they're normal people, they need to realize and stop taking this personally, that it's to stop people who can't, I'm trying to describe it in the right way, but people need to...
We're not in the right state of mind.
Yeah. Gun owners, stop taking, it's not just liberals, it's not just Democrats or Republicans. This is a humanity thing. You know what I mean? We need to step up. Everybody collectively needs to step up, and we need to crack down on this, because we are losing people, little children.
Yeah.
Who can't even fathom these kind of tragedies. Lives are being lost, and we really need to we can't stay quiet.
Yeah.
Because that's how these things are prolonged. And I wish, it's kind of sad how I feel like these mass shootings are kind of tolerated now.
Yeah, it's I think what I said a long time ago. It's the same thing if you go to Afghanistan, you lived in Afghanistan for so long, where there's people being bombed left and right, that you think it's normal, and you're desensitized to it. And that's how I feel now. Mass shootings here in the U.S. is happening to us, where we feel there was a mass shooter. We can't. At least did he get caught or anything? But it's sad. It's sad that we think it's a norm, and definitely we can't produce hate like that. We can't. I always say we're all in the same struggle, regardless of white, black, Latino, or Asian. We're all in the same struggle. We all suffer the same things, and and I don't know if this kid had a mental illness or he got picked on or whatever, and I'm not trying to justify on it, but we can't have somebody say that another group of people is invading if that's not the truth. That's not what 80% of the people that live in America think. So I want to give my respects to the people in those states that suffered and that are mourning. I want to give you, I know we're not religious or anything, but we want to say our prayers and thoughts to you guys. Definitely keep your head up. We're praying for you, and we're hoping that we could alleviate some of your heartache right now with this podcast, even if it doesn't reach all over the country or worldwide. But we want to alleviate some of this stress that you guys have and stuff, by saying some jokes or dropping the F word abruptly.
Yeah, but that's why I was so glad that I had chose a more lighthearted film for this week, because it's so appropriate. We need to think more on the positive side and kind of keep our heads up, and we can't ever lose hope.
We can't live in fear. Also, just want to give a shout out again to everybody, and on behalf of Drop the Mic, we feel your pain. So yeah, thank you, Wesley, for bringing that up.
No problem, man. We need to address serious issues.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Which Bernie Sanders was on the Joe Rogan podcast today, and he made a lot of sense, man. And Joe Rogan, if you guys are familiar with the Joe Rogan podcast, he's not a real big fan of Bernie Sanders, but I think Bernie Sanders won him over with the with the podcast interview today. So we have beautiful people coming up in not only the Democratic Party, but other parties that want to help our brothers and sisters from all over the state, all over the U.S. And that they want to end poverty, and they want to make a middle class, and they want to help all people out, regardless of color, religion, or sex preference. And that's what's beautiful about the future.